Good morning, Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us for another great edition of Race on Main. Don't forget, you can check out all of our past shows at raceonmain.com. We have a terrific show today. Mike DiDominico. Mike DiDominico from 30 Main in Berwyn is going to talk all about the restaurant business out that way, along with the sort of special features of their lounge.
Getting the suburbs out past 9 p.m.
That's right. So stay tuned. Thanks. Philadelphia, and welcome to a great show of Race on Main. We're happy to have you with us. We're here in Philadelphia. It is a great, beautiful day, spring day today. So sit back. We have some terrific fun information for you. So we're looking to get started. But as always, I want to introduce my co-host and brother and partner, Stuart. Good morning. How's it going?
Tomorrow is the day I've been waiting for 23 and a half years.
Oh, that should tell us all about it. It's your time to shine, I guess, as a parent.
It's my time to, I'm getting a raise tomorrow.
Tell us about it. I know what you're talking about.
Taylor's graduating from college tomorrow. And
congratulations to her.
Thanks to her, right?
And to you guys.
Yep. And she's going to be gainfully employed as of July 1st.
Terrific.
We're moving her from her campus apartment to her adult apartment.
You can't come home.
That's
place.
Right.
Yep.
She is officially off the payroll.
And it's a big payroll when they're in school.
It's a ridiculous payroll when they're in school.
So my question is, and again, I know the answer to this, but we want everybody to know,
yes.
is she's not going to work she's going to work where? Like she's going to work in a major?
Yeah, the name of the company I have tucked away somewhere.
Right.
But she's graduating with a degree in civil engineering. And her master's degree, which she's also managed in the 5-year period that she was there, is in stormwater management. So she's going to work for a firm that builds shopping centers and all around the world. And she's going to be in charge of making sure if it rains a lot, nobody gets any damage.
What's interesting about that is I just saw, and I don't know if they're doing it in a lot of places or just one in particular, but there was a local Wawa to where I live. They were redoing quite a bit around the structure of the building in order for that exact circumstance. I happened to ask the manager, who I see somewhat regularly.
Well, it's quite a science now, particularly in this area on the heels of Hurricane Sandy, which Taylor was in Hoboken at the time of that horrible week, and I think that's what lit her fire about this whole thing. So she now this is what she's going to do for a living.
Yeah, it sounds great. It's better than going to work doing something completely
It's better than
unrelated.
coming home and living in her bedroom, which is
now the gym.
Which is going to be the gym, right, or something like that. I think Abby's actually going to move into the big room.
That's fair. That's
but
reasonable.
that'll be, that's how it is.
One down.
Right.
One down.
So.
And 2 to go.
And 2 to go.
Like 1.5 to go.
Well, Sally's on her way. She's doing up in New York doing her thing. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, congratulations to Taylor. That's great, and you guys, that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
So it's fun. So stormwater management.
Yeah,
it's kind of
neat. We'll have her on someday, I guess.
It's interesting. I'd love to hear more. I mean, I know quite a bit about it from her, but kind of interesting. So we have a great guest.
We do.
But before we get to the guest, Mike DiDominico.
Yep,
from 30 Main out in Berwyn. I know you have some interesting things.
Well, Main Street is talking about, and again, we try to not be particularly political on this show if we can possibly avoid it.
That's followed by, now I'm going to talk about
And now I'm going to talk about politics,
stuff,
right?
Gotcha.
Is campaign finance. Because obviously, we're facing, we're in the midst, and whenever this show airs, I think we'll probably already have a new president by that time, but it'll be pretty close. It'll be close. It'll be in the fall. But anyway, the point is that we're in the midst of this campaign season, and campaign finance is on people's minds. So I looked up some stuff, and I don't know where you come down on the side of corporations financing campaigns or individuals financing campaigns, or how that should work. But
it seems like Main Street America gets pushed aside.
Well, that's my point.
So my thought to it, and like I told you 5 minutes ago before we went on, I didn't read any of the notes you prepared.
Yes,
like
because
I never
you
do.
never do.
And it's not something that I particularly like. You have 3 or 4 people that basically control everything, and we get shoved aside. I don't like that.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you think that people who contribute to a campaign on any level should be exposed as to who? Like, we go into a voting booth and we put the curtain behind us. Okay.
Right.
So, do you think that if your neighbor wants to contribute to whomever, whichever candidate, it should be public? No, it should be out there in the public
It's
domain?
a tough one because there is some privacy issues that come with it, and I guess. So my thought towards it is that if you donate over a certain level, maybe at that point we take a look at it, or at least make it public to anybody. Because it seems like, and again, look, if a you have to. I always say think with their pockets, but if I donate $100, which might be affordable, someone who's worth $1 billion who donates $1 million might commiserate, be same
It's
as
the same amount
right,
proportionally.
Right, exactly. So as a result of that, is it really any different them being exposed than myself being exposed? You probably have to do an all or nothing kind of thing.
I just find an odd disconnect between us. I mean, if you're giving a candidate money, then you're sort of saying to the world, well, this is who I'm voting for.
No, that's wrong. That is 100% wrong.
Okay.
And here's the reason why, and this is why it annoys me to no end. Let's use a corporation.
Okay.
You don't think IBM donates to both sides?
I think they probably do.
Of course
I think you're
they
probably
do.
right.
Right. So it has nothing to do with who you're voting with.
But what about the individual? So now put corporations in their own category, because we do have the Citizens United case, which basically took the restricting off of corporations, unions, and other groups, and of course that other groups was the reason that the case was decided the way it was. It was supposed to be that you and I were supposed to be able to go on the internet and create a group.
Right.
But it really hasn't worked out that way. It's really worked out to the benefit of corporations. But how about the individuals at the corporations and how they put their own personal money in? Do they get?
No, and I think you're right. I think probably on the individual level, yes, it's probably more clear that person is likely to vote in a particular direction. Right. That makes more sense. But
does it matter? Is our campaign finance system fundamentally wrong? Or
yes.
Should we just let it alone?
I think it probably is, because I think at the end of the day, the person or group with the most money gets the most say.
Well, that's the way it's always been. I guess. The people with the most money make the rules, right? That's the way it's all been in history.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any way to really change that.
I don't know.
Or you end up creating the tax code kind of thing, and by that I mean you have one.
Spent the whole half hour in the green room trying to get rid of the tax code.
Well, that's what. But my point is that you create a body of language that relates to how you have to do things that's so long you forget what's the first line of it was.
Well, that's the genie letter. Sure,
the genie
absolutely.
Letter, yeah.
Well, all politics are local.
Yeah.
And all politics being local, we have a local guest today. His name is Mike DiDominico, and he is the owner and operator of 30 Main in Berwyn. This is the Main Line's only restaurant, bar, and lounge, all in one. The food is contemporary American, and they feature various tasteful events that keep the bar going after 9 p.m. Most importantly, it's all about bringing a city atmosphere to the suburbs. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So, it's a great concept. Everything about it is great. I just had a conversation recently with where our offices are with a restaurant owner, and their whole attitude was, at 5 o'clock the sidewalks dry up with people out on the main line, or lots of suburbs. There's not much going on. You seem to really have changed that. Tell us about it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hurdles in opening any business on the main line. The big thing we have coming up right now is summer. So it's 75% of the people go down the shore. So how do you keep them in and adjust your business model? And I've been in real estate for 20 years on the main line, grew up in Wayne, familiar. I've seen Wayne grow. I've seen Lower Merion grow. And Berwyn is kind of that next stepping stone. My father bought the building in 1985. It was Section 8 apartments. Hard to believe, but it was. So we're kind of taking that by taking over the business and developing the business and making it part of the community, and having a place for the community to have their events, and kind of reopening what was the old town hall in 1900. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a really interesting and great opportunity to be able to give back to the community with the business and make some money, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, that's always the bottom line.
And,
Yeah.
and that's an interesting thing that you brought up, this sort of town hall center type component to it, which is not the whole show, but I mean part of it. And you and I had talked offline ahead of time, and you talked about community events there, schools that have events there, maybe a funeral that shows up for an after funeral type luncheon, things like that.
They just show up.
Well, you know what I mean. They have a reservation.
Roving nomadic funeral.
With remembrance.
Right, a remembrance brunch
Hey,
or
whatever
luncheon
works.
kind of
Exactly.
thing. So, but all of these events that go well beyond what you think of as your typical lounge type restaurant, it's kind of neat that you're able to utilize the space for some of these great events.
Yeah, I mean, being in the community center and looking at the struggle for restaurants in general. I mean, and how do you attract people, and how do you, in the world of social media, if it's all about just the food and you have bad food, which we don't, but that's it. It's over for you. Not being a restaurateur, we looked at taking over the space and saying, well, how are we going to engage the community and get them to support us? And we have a church up the street. We actually have 3 churches within a block and a half of us, a local theater. St. Monica's Church does concerts. The Trinity Presbyterian does concerts. We do live music and comedy nights and all kinds of shows, art gallery nights. We've really kind of tried to bring that city culture out to the suburbs. And there's very few towns that actually have that kind of lock in there. So it was kind of the perfect mix for what we were trying to do. It's amazing some days. I mean, we just had the Berwyn Victory Walk Run, May Day, which was a version of the Wellness Festival. So it's Berwyn's Festival Day. After the Hunt, which is our event after Radnor Hunt, which is
And we're going to get back to that in a second. Actually, let's just
That was
jump in.
actually my next question, was tell us about some of the events.
Yeah.
But the after the hunt piece is interesting. So, tell us a little bit about that, because I know from, having been at the restaurant and having seen it, just how many people show up for this huge party that goes on after that.
Well, a lot of my life was in the city, in Rittenhouse Square and everything else, and a lot of my friends are from down here. So when we opened the restaurant, I think we maybe had 2 or 3 months to go until this Radnor Hunt event, only to find out that maybe 300 of those people from the city were coming out to this event in their bow ties and their, tailgating and everything else. So we said, let's try this and see what happens, and it worked. The after party, as they say, which I've never seen one on the main line. There may be, but that concept in the city is common.
Right.
In the suburbs, you go to dinner, you go home. What do you do afterwards, and how do you do that in a way that the township and community appreciates? So our main focus is, as we say, the 30 and up crowd. Staying away from the college nights and things like that. And really, our clientele is built to be that 30 and up business person, family. You can bring your kids and all that. So anyway, the After the Hunt event has turned into our 4th annual, and really has become a staple of the main line and that day.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I'm assuming that it'll build so much over the next years that you'll have like the 6 months prior to the hunt party
Right.
kind of thing. That kind of, you don't necessarily need to have 100 different things to really make yourself so well known, and these few items that you're talking about are a pretty big deal. As a business owner, you have to be commended for taking these interesting ideas, running with them, developing them, growing them, as a result employing people on Main Street for them. So those are great things. It's really pretty terrific.
It's an ongoing battle, trying to get across to, Lower Merion kind of has already grown, right? But now the rules are kind of set. And in Easttown, the rules aren't really set, but they're scared to kind of move forward with things. So we've just pushed through, for temporary purposes, Dine on Main, right? So we can put some seating on, kind of a Rouge style sidewalk seating for the time being. So we're going to try it out, and if nobody complains, then maybe we'll get it on a permanent basis. In the meantime, there's a brew pub opening down the street, another restaurant coming in. The lumber yard that's been there for 150 years is going to get knocked down and become retail and condos. There's going to be townhouses at the oil site, Mac Oil, and another set of condos. I mean, it's in the best school district in the state of Pennsylvania and the lowest taxes. So it's a real huge opportunity to be able to contribute to the growth of a town that literally was a highway as you ran through it. You know,
Yeah.
People slow down.
You commented before about, and I enjoyed the way you phrased it with regard to, you know, the local government and the community, you know, in a fashion that's acceptable.
Right.
Do you find that the community and the local government is open to these ideas, or are you finding it to be a hard row?
You know, it's all about relationships, and my real estate background and development, and you know, getting all of those deals done over the years. You know, you kind of take that approach. You know, you find the people that are for it. You find the people that want to see this growth and want to see this happen in the community, and you support the community back. You know, that's what's key. It's kind of hard to say no to somebody when you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for everyone else. Eventually that will come back to you. You know, my father always says, well, they know you want to make money. And well, yes, okay, I'm not doing it to be broke, okay, to go out of business. Right. But by helping the other businesses grow, we grow together. And that will make us a stronger and better built community, frankly, than some of the other ones around us.
Yeah, it's like a general's attitude. Let's all lock arms and work together, and we're going to be able to move this mountain. Whereas if we all kind of go at it individually, we're not going to be able to get anywhere with it. Yeah. So it's a smart approach to it, that's for sure.
We started I started last year, a merchant alliance, because the existing business association was all about charities, but it didn't really, kind of lost its way and didn't do anything for the businesses, and the businesses kind of got upset, you know. So we started a merchant alliance. We advertised together. We struck a media deal with the Suburban and Wayne Times, $150 a month to advertise your business under the Berwyn Merchant Alliance. You know, I had to push a lot of that on my own because the average small business owner, you know, they're busy running their business.
There's always got to be one committed.
Right. It always takes someone to lead it, you know?
Right.
So, you know, I'm the devil in some ways, but, you know, because you're trying to engage change, you know? And that actually created a lot of awareness, and then put a fire under everything else around the community, because, you know, you have these people in their positions and they don't want somebody just starting it on their own and doing more. So it's really started to come together this year. It's a very rewarding feeling to not only be a part of the community where people celebrate their life events, but also to help be behind it and to push it along, and, you know, have somewhere that you're proud of.
Yeah, no, we often talk about, I live down Media Way.
Sure.
And like what you described, we have an event that they call Dining Under the Stars. And I think every Wednesday night during the good weather, they try to. Now, I got the impression that you're not, like I thought initially when we talked before, I thought that you were sort of out there, you know, on an island by yourself, but apparently there are other businesses now that are opening in the general vicinity that are similar that could help.
So we have multiple BYOBs. There's a brew pub coming in without a liquor license. You know, there's another restaurant site that's approved. The businesses are starting to come in, because our rents are cheaper, and it's only 5 minutes out of Wayne. So we're kind of on our own, but we're not. The businesses still need to work together more to drive. We're finally getting over the competing with each other.
Right.
You know, another restaurant came into town, right? Finally getting over that and realizing that we're competing with media on Wednesday nights. So how do we get cafe seating for Berwyn? You know, we're competing with Wayne. We're competing with Paoli. You know, and even in a meeting I had the other night, one of the officers said, "Well, we're not Westchester." Well, we're the business district, and we need to be more like Westchester to be able to compete. And if you're not going to give that to us, well, then let us know, because, you know, in the summertime you could hit a 9-iron down 30 and drive your golf cart and go pick up your ball. So without outside seating and without all of those things that allow us to compete, the outdoor events, everything that all the other towns do, we need to be able to do that. And it's a struggle. I mean, it's they said, well, by September we may have adjusted the zoning for outside cafe. Well, I basically took Westchester's, put in Easttown Township, and said, this is what we want to do.
Right.
This is going to take 3 months.
You can miss the summer months.
Right.
I
But
mean,
that's the struggle.
Yeah, you have the fall, but you still don't. I want to jump back though to something how you talked about, because there's another group that's done something like this, different area, where what they've done is they've gone out, just like you said, you've rallied the businesses, where they all sort of band together with advertising pieces. I've seen other groups band together and create alliances for purchasing energy, purchasing office supplies, and everything in between that has brought down those collective costs dramatically. It almost sounds like that is one area that you're talking about, but these are some of the things that you're trying to wrangle among the merchants. I mean, those are things that I think that, like, how can the township not stand up and listen to you guys?
Well, it's really the business associations, frankly, and they're going to like me or hate me, whatever. I mean, they're broken. I mean, they're not doing what they were originally set out to do. That buying power. I mean, my father was the president of the organization 10 years ago. That buying power, that advertising power, that was all there. People worked together, and where it started to fall apart, I don't know. It's not just. I'm not just blaming our association, it's all of them. The Wayne Association, they're at each other, the Westchester. Well, this person can do this, That's not what all of it was about. It was about working together to make the community better. And so when I came up with this concept with the Merchant Alliance, it was very similar to what you're saying. Creating that buying power, advertising power. I mean, how much do we spend on advertising every year as a local business? It's probably 20%, maybe 10 to 20% of your budget. I mean, Facebook doesn't work the way it used to. It's not free anymore. So, if you can get that buying power, that savings, maybe you can survive in a time where people don't have that extra discretionary income. I mean, they're not spending money like they used to at bars and restaurants.
Right. And there's a lot of competition, and I guess it's easily accessible to get to a lot of places. So what you're doing in terms of standing out is kind of neat. Tell us a little bit more about what I'm going to call lounge, bar, restaurant, because it really kind of covers those categories, and you touched on it. You want to come in, have dinner with your family? Yes, you can. You want to sit at a pretty nice, elegant bar? You can do that as well. You want to take a seat a little bit more quiet in the back in like a lounge area? You have that. Some bands playing on the weekends, comedy. So you've really kind of hit a lot of different aspects that could make, well, I got a babysitter tonight. That over 30 crowd, I don't want to run home at 8:30, so you have all of these different areas. So tell us a little bit about some of the other parts to it that make it that city feel that you could sort of dive headfirst into.
Well, I'm 40. Spent a lot of time going out, like the rest of us down in the city and everything else. And all my friends are getting married, and I can't come out tonight. I got the kids, and people work really hard out on the main line. It's not cheap to live out there, and they have really very few places to go for entertainment, and even fewer places where you'd want to take your wife and kids if there was entertainment, or could take their wife and kids for that matter. And then on top of that, the level of the quality of food. I mean, it's, if you have live music, generally you're going to a bar, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But where are those places like New York and Philadelphia where, the Jazz Cafe and all that, where you can see live music and have a great meal and have a good time in a comfortable, casual environment? They're just not there. So the concept was kind of to tie all of that together, because you can't go too big. I mean, we can't go putting a nightclub in the middle of the main line. That's not going to work. We need to tone everything down and just give people a little bit of variety, so 30 Main doesn't get boring. You never know when it's going to be a singer-songwriter, or we had a girl from The Voice while she was on TV. She was playing there and giving away signatures, autographs to the kids, and Jen Romero from Saturday Night Live, and you just never know what's going to happen. But if you come there, I mean, obviously if you look at our marketing, you'll know. But if you come out, you're going to have a good night, and you can still be home by 11 o'clock, not pay $18 to park and $17 for a cocktail, and you can still get a chef-driven menu, which is kind of what you deserve. I mean, if you want to come in your shorts in the summer, you can come in. If you want to come dressed up for a night out, you can sit in the back dining room and be dressed up for a night out. So that's what I always found going out in the city, that you could kind of come out either way, you know.
It's sort of like we went to when you go to the city, you have dinner in one place, and then you finish dinner, you get up and you walk to another place. Here you don't.
Here we are that other place.
You are that other place, because in the suburbs you really don't have that option. You have to get in the car and drive somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, we have, I think
there is even anywhere else.
I think there's 4 BYOBs within walking distance. So the lounge really came into play with that whole, you know, what are we going to do at 9 o'clock, you know, and how can we attract the other people from the other restaurants to come to us? So that's where the lounge and the live music came together.
Sounds great.
And getting everybody to work together and realize we're not trying to steal their customers for food, right? You know, on the main line, or in the suburbs, there's 1 turnover. And what that means in the city, for instance, people get done work at 4, the bar gets busy. People get done work at 6, the bar gets busy. People go home and will take their wife or girlfriend out at 7, 8 o'clock, the bars get busy, the restaurants get busy. 9 o'clock, there's a whole other crowd. In the suburbs, you get 1. You get 1 chance. It's 7 o'clock, and everybody comes out, they want to eat, and they want to eat now. You need to be able to get at least 1 more turnover. So that was the concept behind all of that.
So real quick, because we're going to start wrapping up, it's 30mainberwyn.com, just like the city or the town Berwyn, 30mainberwyn.com. They have a fantastic website. One of the other things I'll make mention is that there's also, while it's on Lancaster Avenue in Berwyn, there's plenty of places to park in and around the restaurant. So you don't have to worry about that. And there's great directions on the website as to where to park and when you can. It's not hard at all, and you don't have to spend $15, $18, $20 to park. So it's a great,
What's
great
the website
circumstance.
Again?
It's 30mainberwyn.com. Tons of details about it. It's great. It's got their calendar events, all of those kinds of things. Thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to check out all of our old episodes at raceonmain.com. We want to thank Mike DiDominico. You can certainly visit 30 Main in Berwyn at any time, or certainly visit them on their website at 30mainberwyn.com. And as we get out of here, I just wanted to thank the folks from the U.S. Military Vets Motorcycle Club. I was at a concert in Hershey over the weekend, and when we came out, they were having a barbecue and invited us over. And we just want to say thank you to them for all their hospitality. They are all about making the lives of military vets better. So we just wanted to thank them, because again, as we come out usually talking about our first responders, they too are certainly among that group. So thanks to those guys. Don't forget to check us out at raceonmain.com, and we'll see you out on Main Street real soon.